A day in the life of a software developer. What would happen if one day your morning commute took a sudden turn for the worse? Your train was canceled, traffic was non-existent, and every other form of transport was mysteriously unavailable. What would you do? Well, if you're like me, you would whip out your smartphone, fire up Uber, and hail a cab. Simple, right? But what if I told you that this seemingly mundane task relies on code written by some very real people who have to contend with bugs, tight deadlines, and endless cups of coffee? Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to spend a day in the life of a software developer. 7:30 a.m. The workday begins. Now our developer is not a morning person, so he fires up his computer while sipping on a very strong cup of coffee and checking his email. He works for an app development company that specializes in ride-sharing services. That means there's no time for leisurely coding. The company's livelihood depends on its ability to ferry passengers around town as quickly and efficiently as possible. And today is a big day. The company is working hard to roll out a new feature that will allow users to schedule their rides in advance. This will make the service much more convenient for busy individuals who need to plan their trips ahead of time. But before any code can be written, our developer needs to attend a Scrum meeting. This is a daily ritual where the entire team gets together to discuss the progress of the project and to coordinate their efforts for the day ahead. Each team member has a specific role to play, from graphic designers who make the app look good to product managers who keep an eye on the bigger picture. The developer's job is to write the code that brings the product manager's vision to life. In this case, he'll be working on the back end, the part of the app that handles all the behind-the-scenes action. Specifically, he'll be creating the API or application programming interface that allows the app to communicate with the user's phone. Without a solid API, the app is nothing but a pretty interface. So our developer gets to work. 8:30 a.m. Time to code. Every developer has their own coding style, but there are some universal truths about the process. Writing code is a lot like writing an essay. It takes time, patience, and a whole lot of coffee. Our developer pulls up his favorite text editor, which is like Microsoft Word for programmers, and starts typing away. The code he's writing is the brains of the operation. It's responsible for handling all the logic of the app, like matching users with available drivers and calculating the cost of a ride. But it's not just about writing code. It's also about solving problems. Developers are constantly having to debug their code, which means finding and fixing errors as they go along. It's a bit like playing detective, except instead of clues, you have cryptic error messages. And instead of a magnifying glass, you have a debugger. Don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. Debugging is actually one of the most exciting parts of the job. When you finally find the bug, it's like a game of whack-a-mole. The code is deployed to production. After several hours of intense focus, our developer finishes his work and it's time to test it out. He deploys the code to a staging environment, which is like a sandbox where developers can test their code before it goes live. He then uses his smartphone to try out the new feature. Everything seems to be working perfectly, so it's time to move on to the next task. 12:30 p.m. Lunch break. Coding is hard work, so it's important to take breaks and refuel. Our developer decides to head out for lunch and grab a bite to eat. Maybe he'll get some sushi or some pad thai. Who knows? The important thing is to get some sustenance and maybe a little bit of vitamin D. He knows that when he comes back, he'll be diving into some more code, so he might as well recharge his batteries while he can. 1:30 p.m. Back at the office, our developer is getting ready to tackle another coding project. This time he's working on the front end of the app, the part that users interact with directly. He's adding some new features to the driver's interface, like a button that allows them to mark a ride as completed once they drop off their passenger. It's not exactly rocket science, but it's important work nonetheless. After all, this is the part of the app that users see and interact with directly, so it has to be intuitive and easy to use. He works closely with the UI or user interface designer to make sure that the new features fit in seamlessly with the rest of the app's design. They discuss things like color schemes, typography, and overall aesthetics. But it's not just about making things look good. It's also about making things work well. The developer has to write code that is not only efficient and reliable, but also accessible and user-friendly. He spends several hours hunched over his keyboard, wrestling with bugs, and tweaking his code until it's perfect. Finally, he hits the deploy button and the new features go live. It's a small but significant improvement that makes the driver's experience a little bit better. 4:30 p.m. Time for a change of pace. As the sun begins its slow descent, our developer switches gears and tackles a new project. This time he's working on something a little closer to his heart, a personal side project that he's been meaning to work on for ages. Maybe it's a mobile game, a web app, or even a robot. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. As a software developer, he has the skills and knowledge to build almost anything he can imagine. But it's not just about the technical aspects. It's also about the creative side of things. Building something from scratch is immensely satisfying, and it's a chance to really let his imagination run wild. He spends the next few hours in a state of flow, completely absorbed in his work. The outside world fades away, and all that matters is the code he's writing and the project he's building. It's challenging, it's rewarding, and most of all, it's fun. 6:30 p.m. The end of the day. After a long day of coding, our developer is ready to call it quits. He packs up his things and heads home, mentally exhausted but satisfied with the day's work. Looking back on his day, he realizes just how much he has to be grateful for. He loves his job. It's challenging and rewarding, and every day is different. Sure, there are times when it can be stressful and frustrating, but that's all part of the journey. Being a software developer is more than just a job. It's a way of life. It's a constant process of learning and growing and pushing yourself to be better, and he wouldn't trade it for the world. So the next time you open up your phone and hail a cab, take a moment to appreciate the hard work and dedication of the software developers who made it possible. They're the ones who wrote the code that brings you where you need to go, quite literally. If you enjoyed this video, check out this playlist for more fun tech-related content. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates.